Greetings everyone, Jonathan Bailey here, and today I want to talk about me.ga, me.ga, and the very unusual domain seizure that surrounds it. So, to put this kind of in a historical context, we've all pretty much at this point are aware of the story of me.ga Upload. It was a very popular cyberlocker service. In January of this year, it was seized, shut down, had its assets frozen, and its founder / many of his employees arrested in a joint action by U.S. and New Zealand authorities. Dotcom personally, along with many of the employees, are awaiting an extradition hearing to the United States on March 13th of next year. And the company me.ga Upload itself is facing criminal prosecution here in the U.S. All of its assets are frozen. Big, long, sordid ordeal, very controversial. But Dotcom himself, the founder, was very undeterred by all this, and he announced he was going to launch a new cyberlocker service with a new structure that he felt made him more raid-proof, more lawsuit-proof, and just more, proof in general. And he was going to entitle it me.ga and launch it at the me.ga domain, so it would be http://me.ga, the entire URL. Unfortunately, that last part is not going to happen. Unfortunately for Dotcom, at least, that last part is not going to happen. The .ga TLD, the extension, is controlled by the country of Gabon. It is a relatively small West African nation. Has a population, the last I checked, about 1.5 million. I say that because I checked it yesterday. It's not like they're going to have a big population boom in 24 hours. But anyways, about 1.5 million people. And they control that domain extension. So they have decided, before the site even launches, to seize the domain and take it back. Now, I've never heard of this. We hear about domain seizures all the time. I mean, it seems like every so often the FBI does a big batch of domain seizures. We're kind of overdue for one, actually. But they do a big batch of domain seizures, like copyright infringing and trademark infringing domains. And they always are constantly seizing sites and committing other kinds of crimes. And that's true anywhere else in the world. But these seizures usually take place after the site has been established and after it has been deemed to be illegal. And in the U.S., usually at least requires some kind of court order. You can argue if it's fair or not because it's not being challenged, but at least a judge has to sign off on something. Not true. In this case, it seems to just be kind of a unilateral action by a bureaucrat in Gabon, and it seems to be more or less final. He's not getting it back. And that really interests me. I'm not used to, like I said, this kind of preemptive seizure, and I really question its effectiveness too. I mean, stop and think about it. Dotcom and the whole me.ga Upload crew have nothing invested in this domain. They don't have a site on it. They've got no SEO built up in the domain. They had nothing there realistically. So people, still really didn't know about it that much. So there was the site that didn't exist, and now it still doesn't exist. And Dotcom is free to continue working on this, but finding another domain elsewhere. And granted, he won't have what he viewed as the ideal one, but I'm sure he can find another domain to open up on. So how is this effective? How does this shut down the site? I mean, yes, Gabon's being very proactive, and there's already accusations as the United States government leaning on Gabon, and that's causing this. I'm not sure about all that. There's not much evidence been presented of that. But the bottom line is, I just don't see how this is effective. Dotcom doesn't have anything invested in the domain other than whatever he spent to purchase it, and now it's gone. And it raises a serious question about these TLDs at less common nations. We're all familiar with like .com, .uk, and some of the bigger TLDs, but we remember Violet Blue had her .ly domain seized back by Libya, which controls that one, because it hosted pornographic material. And we've heard of other cases of countries sort of taking back domains for very weird reasons, but this is a big part of some of these countries' economy. Like Trinidad and Tobago, I know, does a lot of its gets a lot of business from the .to extension it controls. So, yeah, it's a big business for these countries, and they need to present themselves as a reliable place to host, and that means both not re-seizing domains for silly reasons, or for no reason at all, or proactively in this case, but also it doesn't want to obviously be a place that becomes known for spammers and bad domains. So it's a tough act, but all in all, I don't see what good this seizure did. It's controversial for a lot of very obvious reasons, but the main thing I see in it, I just don't see what good it does. So on that note, everyone, thank you for listening to my babbling for another 5 minutes. This is Jonathan Bailey signing off.